Bland Hoke is a young contemporary artist from Wyoming commissioned to create a piece of art for the Beaufort Hotel in coastal North Carolina.
We want to put a fish on the wall, and I was like, maybe it's a marlin or some trophy fish. And then he sent this article on Menhaden, and I was like, a bait fish? But then you read into it, and you're like, this is the most amazing fish.
Menhaden are an integral part of the history of Eastern Carolina.
My grandfather and a fellow named Will Potter started this Menhaden plant on this location in the 1900s, 1914.
The Menhaden industry played a major role in building Beaufort's economy and identity.
It was a source of income for a lot of different people, a lot of families. It was a very economic boost for the whole town.
Menhaden companies in Carteret County, like the Wheatleys, provided generations of boat captains, fishermen, and factory workers with a dependable livelihood. Bland was excited to create something that would keep that history alive.
Came out here on a site visit and read up on Menhaden because I had no clue what that type of bait fish was.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just blown away by, like, it is the most important fish in the sea in terms of, like, connecting the food chain and providing economic development.
But how does an artist from Wyoming get involved with a project in Beaufort?
It's actually a really funny story that the owner of Triton International Woods would come to Jackson a lot to do business here, and he saw a reflective moose on the side of the highway and decided he really wanted one. So he got in contact with me, and that's how our relationship began. And luckily, Triton does a lot of really boutique, customized solutions for commercial residential spaces, and they had a relationship with the Beaufort Hotel. So this idea of putting a school of Menhaden on the wall really was catalyzed by Triton, and I'm very thankful for that relationship.
For 2 years, Bland combined his unique background in public art with a love of the outdoors to realize an idea that brought Menhaden to life at the Beaufort Hotel.
Just seeing a school of fish on the wall is nice, but if they're swimming, that's nicer.
Bland and an architect friend packed up a cargo van full of equipment, tons of silver fish they had cut out, and a trusty 3D printer. They made the drive from Wyoming to Beaufort and got to work installing his kinetic design.
All right, going up. Seeing that movement of how they school and they evade predators. This type of configuration seemed like the most appropriate to try to capture that movement.
Bland had to do a lot of research into motorism, gearboxes, and mechanics to have the project come together.
There's 3 different layers, and those layers are mapped to the different gears up there, and they'll all move in different patterns that are more or less inspired by the ocean.
He says doing projects that relate to water is a thread that runs through a lot of his work. Capturing the look and recreating the movement of the Menhaden species was a huge part of this piece.
30 or 40, just trying to figure out different surface finishes and how it should actually look on the wall and catch that light. So we went with this kind of pattern that really accentuates the roundness of the Menhaden. And it is honestly so much fun. You can just do this for hours.
Over the next 2 weeks he spent on site, Bland was able to align all the different components and find an innovative way to make his creation move like a real school of fish.
To sum it up, this project is really just a lot of different little pieces and parts coming together to create a bigger vision, and all the people that are coming together to put their brains together to make it happen it's truly remarkable.
The project came together in front of a live audience.
Luckily, we're building it and we can actually see how people react to it. And the moment we turned it on, people are like, I could sit here and watch this all day. And that was probably the most gratifying feeling.
When I saw those fish, the way they'd been done and the way they were hanging there, I was totally amazed.
And seeing that history of the Menhaden industry come full circle at the Beaufort Hotel, it is a great homage to folks like Ed Wheatley who lived it.
You need to remember where you came from, always.